would take your language, I would take your words, I would take your song, and I will now complement it. And he said, I will take it to my arena, but I will always be looking over my shoulder at you saying, yeah, we're together doing this one. I really needed to talk about my family and how, when my brother became ill, just how much the family surrounded him.
The way I came up with the idea to write this was I was chatting with Sonia about the book and about the various family members, and I asked her about her dad. And I said, what did your dad do? What kind of music was your dad into? And she said, oh, he was a jazz drummer. Really? He said, yes, pre-Duke Ellington, sort of Dixielandish kind of drummer. And I said, that's interesting. What about your brother? And she said, well, he was an R&B, Motown kind of guy. Father, I despise you for abandoning me. Aunts and mothers. What about you? And she said, Billie Holiday, Early Coltrane.
Come down to my house in Philadelphia now. It is a cleansing of the body.
And I went, And it just sort of clicked into me in my mind that each character had a musical idiom, a musical genre, a certain style.
The book is divided into 4 sections. The sister's voice, because you do understand that when I first started to write this book, this was just going to be my voice telling the story.
And I will defend your skin.
And as I was writing this book, my brother's voice surfaced. My brother's dead, but I mean by that I mean his voice surfaced, and he said, "Where's my voice, Sonia?"
I've checked myself out of the hospital, sister. I'm back at work on a new skyscraper. I'm piecing together the city in a recital of steel and windows.
And I said very calmly, well, I'm telling your story. It's your story, it's not mine. He said, yeah, but I want my own voice. And I said, oh gosh, this is a difficult book, right? And then I said, gotcha, I can do this. I can do this. I can give you your voice.
And I said, Sonia, wouldn't it be fun to do something with your piece, with your work, and turn it into a piece where each member of your family was represented by the kind of music that they loved, and then the emotion of all the poems was in under that. And she said, sounds great, let's go for it. So we did some demos of 3 of the poems, 3 of the 59 poems, with the idea of taking it around orchestras and trying to see who would be interested in commissioning us to do the whole piece. And before we got it that far, I happened to be playing the demos for Mark DiCiani, who's the director of the School of Music, and he took a listen to it and he said, we should be doing this here. This is a perfect vehicle for a multidisciplinary collaboration at the university. It's everything the university aspires to be. So let's do this with the School of Theater and the School of Dance and the School of Music and various ensembles within the School of Music and vocal soloists. And let's do it this spring.
This particular piece is extremely difficult to put together because it's being revised all the time as necessary. That's how new of a work it is. It's almost like preparing a Broadway show where you have to be prepared during the previews to be able to put in brand new material that day and then perform it that particular evening. Of course, you're dealing with professionals there, and here you're dealing with students. There's 22 instrumentalists, maybe 100 singers. There's the vocal soloists. And then there are some smaller ancestor parts as well, a few soloists, I think like a total of 4. And then we have a group at the University of the Arts called Rumble. And it is basically a bucket drum ensemble. They will be on stage playing, where everyone else will be in the pit performing.
Each department has been working independently, tearing their hair out, trying to figure out how to make this work. Everyone has read the book. Everybody knows the poems. But here we have the chorus and the vocal soloists practicing and rehearsing without the accompaniment. And we have the big band rehearsing and playing without a lot of the melody. And we have dancers that are practicing the dancing to the meaning of the poems and to some synthesizer demos that represent the what the music will sound like. And the actors are going along acting without knowing what the underscore is and how they have to stretch out their lines or move them along to fit with the underscore that is responding to what they're saying. So everyone's working in their own little vacuum, and now just in this last week we have finally started coming together, which is just a wonderful, wonderful process where everyone finally goes, ah, I get it. And they see how their piece fits into the whole puzzle.
I asked my dancers to create small studies using each word. So each word has to be represented with a body part or a gesture.
Grabbing the city by the root with clean metallic teeth.
And then I use the music as a background.
Dancing his pirouettes.
So that was my process. The words, the rhythm of the words, the meaning of the words, the images coming from the words and the whole poem.
We're trying to make sure that the actors have a clear understanding of the poetry.
I was told I don't remember who. I think I was told he entered his sister's house, cursed me anew, tried to tattoo her tongue with worms, tried to arouse her slumbering veins.
That it's not just poetry, but that they're really thoughts, they're really things that people say. Sonia's written some very dense lyrical poetry. We try to bring a clarity to that so that it sort of just leaves the mouth of the actor and escapes into the audience.
I must prepare my tongue for the proper choice of words. Make my eyes full, moist. I will let them operate on his diminished body. I will indulge their hands in this new fantasy.
With some understanding of what really is going on in that moment, what the brother wants, what the sister wants. And that's what we worked on. One of the things that is central to this is the students' experience of this.
I've never been a part of something with so much dance involved and so much music involved, and you have to be conscious of all these efforts, but you all have to work together cohesively to get the story told.
I traveled to India, Father. Sai Baba says, my turn has come to prostrate, pray, reconcile my soul with him who enters single file.
And it's not here's speaking and then here's dancing and then here's music. It's all, you're one person on the stage, all 200 or so people involved with this to tell this one story. And for that, it seems more of a, it's more of a communal journey.
Of my spirit's watch.
The greatest thing in the world is artistic collaboration and working with other artists. So I live in a world where I sit in a room. I was talking to Sonia about this morning. I sit in a room and I push notes around in my head, and she sits in a room and pushes words around in her head. But when you finally get to a place where other creative artists are working with you on the same project and bringing their magic and their vision and their creativity to bear on something larger than anything any of us could have created individually, that's magic. That's the best.
It is incumbent upon us all, in terms of our families and in terms of our countries and our cities and our states, to make sure that we do have lions that will protect us all. And I guess the lion in our families happens to be our families.